Nico basically had everything to be number 2. And then 3, 4, 5 was kind of a bigger conversation, but just Rob's had all the awards. You know, he had the big match. You know, he had all the impact later, deeper into the tournament, even if his stats weren't maybe as high as Modesty, for example. You know, Modesty just didn't have the same peaks. He didn't have the same big match. He fell off in those big matches and all that stuff. So we felt like Rob's he proved enough deeper into the tournaments to be able to edge out Modesty, even though statistically he was a little bit worse.
Best esports odds, VIP program and a variety of bonuses, fast and easy withdrawals, bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans around the globe, welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. As you can see, there's 3 boxes. Prof made it, I made it, Striker's Cats made it. And normally at this point, when there is a Face It game going on or something, and someone's going to AFK, I go, oh, his cat's on fire. But you can't make that joke because he actually has cats. So we don't want his cats to be on fire. But we're here for another episode. We've got a bit to talk about this evening. And, well, we need to thank the sponsors. 22Bet, remember to gamble responsibly. And Trade.gg, if you're in the marketplace for some skins, head over there and check out what they have to offer. Now, we're going to do this as a standing brovation. This is a standing brovation for Prof. It's like standing ovation, but brovation. Now, Striker's not here to celebrate this with us. It's like, try and pull my chair back so I don't fucking fall over. But Prof, the award show, it's come to the close, mate. You're not stressed anymore. You're happy. You're relieved. You did a fantastic job. How's it all washing over you now?
Feeling good. Didn't feel this good in about 3 months, I think. Just pure joy, in the words of eternal words of Pronex. Just feels really nice seeing everyone having a good time, enjoying it online. Obviously, not everything went perfect as we want. There's always some production hiccups here and there, but some planning things that could have went better, oversights. But I think overall, people are super happy. I was just listening to Scrawny made a little podcast, like an hour long, just like 1 hour of his experience, and it's really nice to see how things went from someone else's perspective, right? Because you plan everything, but you're not there to actually experience it, right? Especially all of the small details. And it was really nice just to hear everything we put in effort to do is we need to do this here because of this. And all of it kind of worked out as planned. So that's great. And yeah, just again, shout out to everyone that came and watched, and people on the team that made it possible, right? And HLTV in general, and Peter's top 20 that started 10 plus years ago. That kind of started the whole thing, right?
And Peter was there. I saw Peter for a brief moment.
Did you have a conversation?
Yeah, some other people were coming up and chatting to me, so we didn't really get to talk for as long as I would have wanted. I didn't hang around the party for too long. I was there for about 20 minutes and I fucked off. Oh. But I heard it was a good party. Yanko was saying it was a great party. I think all the fun and games. And the fact it's in the hotel, right? That's a massive bonus. The fact that people, they can just go up to their bed whenever they're done. That's a huge
for you
out there.
For you, it was 12.
Yeah, I guess. Look. I'm in my head at the moment, so I would have hung out a little bit more, but I'm in my head at the moment. But from my perspective, when I was there, everything was great. It was Lucas. You couldn't join us. You're gonna have to join us right now, Lucas, because we're down to Striker.
Yeah. What up?
You weren't with us. Where were you? What was your excuse? You said you had a tailored suit and everything, mate.
I got some work that popped up. Had to stay in Denmark.
Right here. Had to stay.
On the grind. On the grind.
You weren't on the bus. You weren't on the HLTV bus back and forth from Odense.
Nah, I'm sad I missed it. It looked like a fun party, and then even more fun after party.
Well, rumor has it, Prof, you've already started work on next year.
I mean, yeah, we've been talking. We need to, there's been some, inquiries of different types about the show. So we need to wrap this up. There's always like, the week after is like getting all the reports, all of the stats, getting paying people. I don't know if you sent in your invoice, but you probably should. So
I did.
Yeah, so you get all of that done, and then the week after that, on Friday, I'm vacation starting for me. 1 week.
Oh.
Don't ask me anything unless something's on fire.
When Blast starts, does that mean you're going to like...
No, towards Friday, so like Blast's almost halfway through.
Okay. Oh, Friday next week.
Yeah.
Okay, not this week. Okay, so you're
I
going to
love this, man. This was this your idea, Prof?
What?
You guys can't even see. I totally failed. Yeah, I totally failed. Here you go. Now you can see the amazing man I put on screen.
The laser guy.
Yeah, the laser guy.
The laser guy was one of the things they offered us with the after party company that we worked with. There's like, do you want the guy with the laser saxophone? I'm like, yes. My answer is yes to this. This sounds amazing, and people vibed. People vibed with this
laser saxophone. Okay, look how the cats get. This is actually awesome. Kind of, we get to, there's some streams on Twitch that you can go and watch, and it's just like cats, or there's just like chickens or puppies or whatever. Yeah. This is kind of what Striker's house is right now.
We just need Lucas to full time, just like track the cats. Here we go. Oh my God, there it is. There it is.
Hello, cat. It's on the chat. And Striker, how did you feel about the award show? Meow 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 meow. Wow. Oh, wow. Striker had a great... I saw Striker at breakfast the next day. He must have gone to bed at a reasonable hour too, because he was down at breakfast relatively early. Yeah. So I think...
was driving home the next day. Oh!
Doing his own stunts. Look at this shit.
Let's fucking go.
Wow. What a start to the podcast this has been. I don't think we'll ever top this. What a leap of faith that was. From chair to couch. Damn, that thing's got 9 lives. Holy moly.
Bro, that's insane. That's actually insane.
Yeah, loving it. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, but Striker went home the next day. He was driving.
He drove.
He drove in. Yeah, so I think he was on the safer side. I was celebrating. I celebrated. I can say that. Oh, I saw Striker in the background. Oh my God.
Oh, he might come.
But yeah, other than that, you got an award. Let's just touch on that once again. How does it feel?
It's out there in front of the TV with my esports award. So it's gonna. Hey, Striker made it! Hey, there he is, Striker.
Oh.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I almost locked myself out of the apartment if there wasn't the building manager, whatever. And fortunately, he knows me.
How did you almost lock yourself out of the apartment? Now we need to know what happened.
Well, I just left my keys and my phone inside, and that's what happened.
Why did you go outside?
Whatever. I had to go to the car for a moment.
Never leave the house. Just don't leave the house. Everything's gonna be fine.
It was pretty funny. The other day, Henry sent me a message, and it was like early in the evening, and he's like, "Yo," I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Do you know there's keys in the front door of your house?" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, your keys." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I hadn't left the house in like 10 hours. Like I just left keys in the front door for the whole time.
Honestly, I do that way too often. Way too often.
Thought I had Henry looking out for me there. That went down all right. Striker, we were just recapping just a bit of wrap up of the award show. We had a standing brovation for Prof, which is like a standing ovation, but
brovation. Did you say?
Yes, there's a couple of bros doing it, and really it was just me. I don't know if Lucas stood up. Do you have any final well, not final thoughts, but any thoughts, anything you want to express that you didn't express on the evening?
No, I mean it was a really nice evening. For like surprisingly very little for us to do, even though like for us it was just like pretty much the same shit we always do, except like with some hoopla in between. We're just like doing whatever. So I mean, it just felt like a really nice evening. I actually had some time to enjoy the show. It wasn't just all working, so yeah, it was great.
It was weird sitting in me and Alex, when I was sitting next to Machine, you guys sat me next to Machine and Henry and all that. I was sitting in the audience. It was weird to like watch a show like that like we're never in the audience. We're always, somewhat. Right. It's kind of strange, like watching a thing. I was like, holy shit, this is really interesting. So it was a fun night. Now let's talk about the top 20. Let's just dial in on that for a second here. And maybe if anything didn't really get mentioned, because when the number one, which was ZywOo, his third time number one right now, when that all happens, like then 2 and 3 come out, right? Nico was 2, Robs was 3. Is there anything with them being 2 and 3, but other than the gap between 1 and 2 that we did speak about briefly on the couch when Henry was there with us, Striker? Is there anything else that we may have missed when talking about the top 20?
I mean, in regards to the to all the way to the top, I think I kind of alluded to it on the show, but we didn't have that much time to go in depth a little bit more, which was just about the whole. Basically, there was kind of like a 2 to 5 conversation. I don't think anybody I can't pretend that the number one discussion was anything. There was even a discussion, or there was not a discussion. It was just like that was that obvious, that was the number one. But then 2 to 5, I guess there was a kind of a conversation. But then again, still, I mean, Nico was statistically very obviously the second best player. I mean, he out-damaged ZywOo. He almost matched his impact. His rating was pretty much I think it was second highest still out of everybody, from it, and kept all those numbers up against the best teams in the best tournaments, obviously with peaks in Katowice and Cologne, all that stuff, so Nico kind of checked all the boxes that, basically the only way that he was behind Robs was the big match rating, which was just crazy on Robs. Robs was as good as in big matches as ZywOo. He outperformed his average level by a long way in, deeper into tournaments, which is extremely rare, I have to say. Out of the top 20 players, only a handful actually improve later in the tournament. Most people fall off in the playoffs, and that's where Robs actually shined. And that's obviously, a big part of why he had all those MVPs, from the year. So, I mean, just from that perspective, I think though, Nico basically had everything to be number 2, and then 3, 4, 5 was kind of a bigger conversation. But just Robs had all the awards. He had the big match. He had all the impact later, deeper into the tournament, even if his stats weren't maybe as high as m0NESY, for example. m0NESY just didn't have the same peaks. He didn't have the same big match. He fell off in those big matches and all that stuff. So we felt like Robs he proved enough deeper into the tournaments to be able to edge out m0NESY, even though statistically he was a little bit worse.
Okay.
And then Spinks, I mean, just to round out that conversation, Spinks was basically number 5 because of kind of his floor was super good, but all of his peaks, even though he has 6 EVPs, all of his peaks were comparatively lower than pretty much all the 3 people above him. He was great. His year was obviously amazing, as you go deep into the top 5, or deep into the top 20, you reach the top 5, you can't really fault anybody for anything almost. They're great at everything, but just the people above him were a bit better in a lot of those senses, So that's pretty much why he ended up 5th. That maybe he had the consistency, but not the peaks to match up to the 3 guys or 4 guys, including ZywOo above him.
Yeah, I think when we look back at it all, ZywOo definitively number 1, but it feels like I think someone said this. Did we say it on air? Did someone say this at any point? It's going to be really exciting when we have a year where we don't clearly know who the number 1 is.
I mean, we had that year when there was the 2020, when it was between Simple and ZywOo, and that was very close. Their awards, their stats were super close, and that's still a year that a lot of people contest, our call for ZywOo being the number 1. And I think, I mean, that's fair enough. There's different things that you can prioritize, and you can say that Simple was better, but they were so extremely close that the smallest details decided it. So that kind of a year when we have number 1, 2, 3, especially if there are 3 people in the race, it's not as obvious as this. I don't know if that's going to happen as long as we have ZywOo alive, and as long as he's still at the peak of his abilities. I don't know if we're going to have a conversation for 3 people in that run. Especially considering where Simple is at the moment. I mean, it's not like I expect him to stay there, but
it's hard to see how he makes that dent for 2024.
That's the point. We don't even know when he's going to come back. He's not even inside the team at the moment, and it seems unlikely that he will be for the major cycle. And if he's not for the major cycle, that already means he missed out on quite a lot. And so that's already will start off the year the way that he ended it. Out of all the big tournaments. So that's already going to damage his case for being in contention for the number 1. It's not like he can't be if he's dominant enough for the rest of the year. I mean, you can obviously he can always come up with that.
That would be insane. That would
be crazy. Yeah, like you miss out on the first major entirely. Like you don't even play the first 3 months. Katowice and major, and you still end up number one. Feels like it's like that's a hard thing to do, you know.
Is there anything else that you feel that we missed around this conversation, Prof, or anything in orbit of this type of conversation that we're like with any of the other awards or?
Well, I mean, could be, I guess, discussed over different ways. I think the highlight of the year, I heard again, was the most contentious one out of all of the awards this year. Even though obviously this year it was a panel award. Last year we did it like internal HLTV voting.
Yeah.
And that was like how we always did the top 10 highlights of the year. But it definitely, in my opinion, was not the right call last year when we got when Robs didn't win for the round against G2 in the final of
short on Inferno, right?
Yeah. That for me was like obviously more impactful and pretty skillful, and also had like the rhythm of the round was so good. Like it was pretty fast paced. And then we were like, okay, let's just put this in the panel awards where we have like 20 players, 10 talent, and five of our journalists voting. And the result was the ZywOo 1v4 that people thought was the best highlight of the year, right? Obviously, the MOUZ one, super exciting, but also against the Ecos, and that's why I don't know which award show was, like Esports Awards or Game Awards. Someone gave that to MOUZ, and because when you just watch it as a layman, I think it definitely looks the best, right? But it wasn't that important of a round in any way, and it wasn't that important to win and get all of those kills. It was like a 5v5 anyway, right? If you died, nothing really happened. That's why the ZywOo and the Cadian clutch was also pretty insane. I think the ZywOo and the Cadian were kind of in the same vein, similar vein of like finding the timing and everything. So yeah, just to explain that. And I think in the end, whoever would have won, it would have been a pretty fair one. And I guess that's always going to be the most unpredictable award that we have, because it's very much like super subjective, right?
Okay. Well, I just wanted to kind of tie up any loose ends, wrap it up, discuss the last few bits and bobs of the award show, because now, and not even just now, there's been Counter-Strike going on, right, for the major circuit. So do we want to turn our attention in that direction now, or we all happy to start getting there? Okay. Well, what we'll do is we'll plow through the recent news. Lucas, roll the bumper, and we'll get into that. That's all right. You can have 2 seconds. All right, Preasy, you're up for sale. Who read the news? Don't all jump on this at once.
I think I scrolled through it.
I didn't even open the thread.
I did read some of it. I think I read the whole thing. But for me, it's just like, what are you talking about? What is this? What optics are you trying to convey to me right here? And we signed the pre. We have this team for like 6 to 8, 9 months, maybe in total. We just made like a big signing, and we're selling the team. It's like, what? And they're also trying to sound like everything's fine. We're just like looking at the options. It's like, what is this? Like, I don't want to break up. I just want to like open up the relationship. Like, just say it out how it is. Like, this can't like survive as it is right now. That's what it's saying to me. So it's just kind of weird. It's also kind of weird.
Read the statement. Don't read the whole thing. It's quite long.
Yeah,
it's pretty long.
I mean, it's I wouldn't.
Well, the first paragraph says, with a mix of joy and contemplation, Michael Hertz, as the owner of Preasy Esports, announced my decision to sell our beloved sports club. The decision has grown out of the remarkable development where Preasy Esports has evolved into more than just a side venture.
Yeah,
so it's like, but as you go through it, it's like a lot of people like, okay, this will sound good to anybody who doesn't know what Counter-Strike is, and that's probably like where they want to sell, like what, like really hard, like outside of the hardcore audience, because as you go down, it's like it says something like our team currently resides in the global elite and is ranked so high that we have been invited to the closed major qualification for the major in Copenhagen, which is like, okay, teams who are like top 50 got invited to that, so that's not like, is that really impressive?
That's not elite. That's definitely not elite.
That's my point, like
that's definitely not elite.
Doesn't it like just pose one question?
Yeah.
If they qualify for well, they still have to go through the closed into the RMR into the major.
I mean, that's kind of the crazy part, you know. Like, okay, like depending on what their sticker deals are with the players, like if they actually make the major, why are you selling the team?
Yeah.
Like literally, you can like if you have like let's say like from information that I've heard, you know, gathering stuff about the major, like 50% for a 50-50 split for the team. Sticker is pretty common. Like 50-50 is pretty good even. Like a lot of the time it's even heavier skewed
60-40
towards the,
sometimes.
yeah, something like that. You know, it's even more heavily skewed to the organization. There are teams who have more than 50%, like for the players, you know, but more common will be that it's like 50-50 or worse in terms of the players, you know. So like, okay, if you actually do write it out this next month and you actually qualify for the major, like why, like what's the point here? Like you've already made back your money and probably made up a lot more on top of that, you know, even if we go down from this massive high that we had the Paris major, you know, with the stickers.
It's also like, are they even gonna manage to sell this before
Who's
the
buying
RMR
this?
finishes? Is like, but for me it's so pointless to even try to sell it. I don't see who's gonna buy a whole org in a month. No one's gonna buy them, and then they're not gonna qualify for the major, and then they're gonna be like, oh well, we're gonna sell anyway. It's like, no, you weren't gonna sell if you qualify. You just don't think it's gonna work, right?
Well, we have resident Danish man on the streets, Lucas, calling in. Lucas, what do you have to tell us?
I think a lot of like Danish people is also kind of questioning the move, because what are you buying? Like Preasy Esport, Preasy is a company started by Michael, the guy who sells it. So like, there's no sponsor for it. What are you buying? You're just picking up the salaries from all these players. Like you're not buying. Like, do you want me to pay money to buy a contract to pay to Preasy? Like, I love Preasy. They're the new Copenhagen Flames, but it doesn't really look good that you're selling or want to sell the team like a few weeks before the biggest tournament that could, you know, give income to the team.
I mean, they also came. Let me just see when they made this team, like with this lineup when Vorborg coming in, the ex-Copenhagen Flames.
That's not that long ago. This is like what, a few months,
maybe a little bit more than that, right?
Preasy, Vorborg joins in August, so
so 6 months, let's say. Yeah,
not even a year. And they came in with this whole like, we're going to be the next Copenhagen Flames. You know, we're going to build this sustainable kind of business that Copenhagen Flames had for a while, but then they maybe grew too much and kind of collapsed. But it's you're obviously not doing what you said you're going to do 9 months later. And this is like kind of classic business, you know. Yeah. There's bad
I'm also
forecast
curious
for
about
esports and going out, and that's it.
I'm also curious about like the stands, the line that says something like Preasy now stands as a financially viable organization with promising prospects. I'm like, but where does that come from exactly? Like, do you actually like? I'm sure there's nobody like buying merch. But
there is merch. I'm just looking at it now.
Like, okay, but like you have to be realistic here, and it's like, okay, like obviously if you're in Denmark, you're like most people buy Astra's merch. Maybe there's not that much space for other people, and it's not like Preasy is some big org that people will just stand behind all of a sudden and just buy a bunch of merch. As we said, like the sponsors aren't particularly there in terms of anything other than literally the brand sponsor, which is the owner of the team. And then like, so does that mean like that the financial viability comes from the sale of Nikodos to Heroic, who probably like spent a decent amount because Nikodos had a pretty fresh contract in Preasy, and I imagine he had at least a decent salary. You know, if he's joining from Fnatic, I guess he's going to be on a decent salary in Preasy, even if it's not like the biggest organization. You know, from that perspective, I'm like curious where that financial viability comes from. I don't know. This whole statement just feels like it feels so weird to me. Like I absolutely agree with Prof. I don't get it.
Do we have a conclusion of all of this, or is like should I continue not caring?
These players looking at Nikodos and the way that he's putting up these numbers in CS2, and like you have Dupree and you have like this is not a bad core of people. You know, it's not like I expect this to be like number one in the world or whatever.
TMB, Roy, and Altex with Volvo as the coach.
I mean, Altex is also a guy that a lot of people had kind of as maybe not like the biggest star of a team, but at least like a good rising player that could be like a fifth piece, you know, to a pretty good team, you know. Then you have Dupree with all of his major experience, you know. I was just talking about Nikodos, literally. I mixed it up and it's like he's literally left to Heroic now. Anyway, I mean, it's not a bad core either way. You know, like it's there are players that you can take apart.
Let's just say what is going to happen. What is going to happen? They play the close qualifier for the RMR. Maybe they go through. I don't think anyone's going to buy them until they either qualify for the major or don't qualify for the major.
Well, if they're at the RMR, it gets a little bit more enticing, surely.
Yeah.
Slightly.
But surely, like, okay, but even then, like, I don't know if, like, okay, you see this team being at an RMR, like, do they actually sell at that point, you know, where they think, okay, like, we could get the major stickers, and, like, would we really give the major stickers to a new owner all of a sudden, you know, like, things like that. I don't get, like, this timing just doesn't make sense to me. Like, really, maybe they are just trying to bait somebody into thinking, okay, maybe this team is going to get stickers. You know, it's worth like whatever it could be, $500,000 investment into buying this organization. Maybe it's more. I don't know. I'm just throwing out numbers, you know. But like, okay, if you get $2 million from stickers for the organization, maybe investing $500,000 doesn't sound so bad. But they then don't qualify, and so that risk is like that. That didn't work. So I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand anything.
So Lucas has just linked us a tweet here, which came out. That's tonight, right? That was yesterday. This is yesterday. A sale is not a bad thing. This is from Michael Hertz, who is the the owner.
He's the owner, and right now the esports division is under a electricity company, and his last name is Hertz.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. He's in the right business. Right now, the esports division is under an electricity company. The esport is now an org, and it has its own way. We just want to secure the future and the further growth. If there's no interest, we will, of course, continue. Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't really care. Let's move on, shall we?
Can I say one thing?
I don't know.
You can,
Lucas.
Oh my God, we're talking about Preasy for 10 minutes. Jesus Christ.
So sellout for the Danish scene. Like the month before, like Copenhagen Flames went like bankrupt, they were also out searching for funding. Like, oh, you can buy a piece of Copenhagen Flames and get these returns for your money, and then they closed a month later. So.
Rip. Look, I don't know. Maybe we are being too negative, and they're just like, okay, like this was the whole time, like this was just a like passion project, you know, under this electricity company owner who like, okay, like built this esports side of it, and now he just wants that to go further. I don't know if we're being too negative about it, and I just don't understand this angle or what, but it really doesn't sound good that like within a year of an organization's existence, which by the way, what was it used to be? Lucas, you'll be able to refresh my memory. This Preasy came out of a different organization, right? Basically.
Ambush. They bought up Ambush.
Go. That's the one. I couldn't remember, but it used to be like Ambush by Preasy, and then Preasy decided to like just take over the brand and just be like the sole owner, sponsor. I don't know what happened exactly. I don't remember the specific details. And now within 9 months, the same owner is like saying, okay, now I want somebody else to own it. Like, so I don't get it. I just don't understand. Maybe somebody can like
very low, then it's fine because like cool core, and you know someone has to pay the salaries. But I don't see it being sold for like any real money. Let's just say that.
All right, let's get into something else that upset Striker today. So we had this was a week ago now, because the last episode we did, I think, was on the 7th. So we had the invites come through for EPL. So teams like Cloud9 were invited to EPL. Obviously, there's the Luva teams, and then you have some invites on top of that. But we have the groups, so we may as well just focus in on the groups. But Striker, knowing that Pro League doesn't start until after the major, so what are we talking here?
April.
Fucking April, and it's a 3-week event. You weren't too happy to see that the groups are being announced already on the 17th of January. Lucas, I put a link in there. If you could bring that up for everybody at home, we can even show people the groups.
Yeah, I mean, my point was the whole time is like, okay, like usually tournament like group distributions when whatever is usually announced, let's say with a monthly time, you know, like because there's not such a need to have it be a little bit earlier because like everybody's coming there for the same time and all that stuff. I get I understand the point why they announced it so early. Because
hold up, you're ahead of yourself here, because you're already defending what they're doing without saying why you got upset.
I said in the first place, like even in the tweet, like I understand the point why they did this, but it still feels very excessive to announce it 3 months ahead of time, just because, okay, like let's say Falcons isn't a number 10 team, they're going to be number 2 team, and like by the time Paris Major's over, like that's absolutely realistic possibility. Maybe not, maybe yes, but there is a possibility that this number 10 rank, or whether they have now, it is number 10, right? Like it is a bit hard to read for me. Then this number 10 rank is absolutely bogus. Like it's just, we don't know what this team is ranked effectively because they haven't really played, and they only have those points from a core that like is now different, like a different team. Same thing, like, okay, Ants had a different core. Now they have Glaive and Diha, but maybe not as drastic. Same thing with Heroic. They just garnered a bunch of points from the players that they took over. They could be much worse than this. They could be much better than this 13th rank. But okay, but let's say all these teams are much better than we expected, and then like these groups become completely imbalanced in 3 months' time because they were distributed way too early, So like there's tournaments happen. I think somebody mentioned that there's Melbourne happening in the first two groups of the Pro League,
which
So it should be the first two groups. So like this allows the teams, who would potentially want to qualify from Melbourne or even get invited to Melbourne to actually accept that invite because they know that they don't have to play in the first two groups of EPL, Maybe there was a different way to do it, just telling, okay, you're in one of these two groups, like you're playing this week, but you don't know which of the groups. We can just like separate the 32 teams into 2 16-team group, like packets or whatever, and then only decide like which one goes within those two groups.
I see what you're saying.
Later, like to at least give yourself a little bit of a time to be able to get some more information. Like it's still not great because you're separating the teams already into two different what is it called?
Pots.
Pots, yeah, exactly. But so you're limiting yourself already, but at least you're not limiting yourself to a way that like literally you've put all the teams in the same group already, So I mean, I don't know if there was a way that this could have been handled differently with everything in mind, but it just feels weird. It feels weird to know the group so far ahead of time.
I think that it's obviously brought up a few points of conversation, right? Because the key is that the groups are spread out over 2 different weeks, which is better than how it normally is of fucking 4 different weeks, and the 5th week being the final like last year. So that like it's already better, but I see what you're saying. So ideally, what do we think though is a reasonable amount of time to have it announced before? Is a month even like let's say this was just a standalone week-long event, how long before do we think that the seeding should be locked and things like this should be locked? I mean, like we're living in a hypothetical world right now.
If it's a week-long event, then like between a week and a 2 or something, a week or 2, right? Because it doesn't change anything. Everyone's there at the same time.
Yeah.
It's
for
about
something
like realistically, it's just about the preparation, right? Like so that everybody has enough time to prepare for the specific group, specific opponents, like first match and stuff like that, right?
No matter when that's announced, everybody has the same amount of time.
No. But that's not my point. But it's more like to allow teams to be as prepared as possible for the group of opponents that they have. It's not about like.
But that's a different conversation altogether.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's not about imbalance. It's more about or like unfairness. It's more about like what's the ideal time for you to prepare for the opponents you have in a group.
Yeah.
But surely, like you don't spend more than a couple of weeks preparing for specific opponents. For a tournament. It's probably not going to happen over a longer period.
So, how many teams are we getting out of each of these groups? Right?
4. No,
I think it's 4.
3?
Like we're going down to 16 as before, right? Like that's not changed.
For the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
4
sure.
teams from each group.
Yeah.
Should be the same.
So that's and it's. I guess the thing is when you have such a large field like you have at Pro League, you definitely have some less desirable names in the mix that aren't hugely exciting. That tends to happen more often than not. But we would like to have. I guess no, I agree.
Do we know anything about the format of the actual stuff? Like,
I just think they're going to play the 2 groups at the same time. I just think they're going to have another stream because normally when we do Pro League, we run 6 days a week, right? We run Tuesday through Sunday, and we do 3 best of 3s a day on most of the days, and some days only 2 best of 3s a day. Oh, but we have a B stream for the first few days anyway. So I assume it's going to be 3 best of 3s a day, every day, and 2 streams because it's 2 groups, and maybe even a 3rd stream in there at some point too. That's me completely guessing, but I'm going through like broadcast maths in my head, which is kind of like boy math and girl math thrown together. So I think that would have to be the case. There have to be a shitload of streams.
kind of, I don't know. I don't know why this is. Why didn't they just do like Swiss? I think
I just want it back online, man. Put Pro League back online. Fuck all this nonsense. Fuck it. Just put it back online, man. Just go back online, man.
On the line.
We love it on the line. Nothing bad happens on the line, right? Like, look at these qualifiers we just had. No one's cheating. Everything's fine. Okay. So that's Pro League. We'll talk more about the groups probably the week before April 23rd.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. The groups right now, we don't need to dig into them too much, but the main little issue Striker wanted to raise was that. Prof, do you have anything you want to throw in the ring here?
No. Actually not.
No, it's fair enough. When I was going through all the topics we had today, I was like, there's not like crazy exciting stuff other than obviously the blast groups, which we have next week.
Might even call it short. We worked a little hard last week, right?
Yeah.
If there's nothing to talk about, and obviously we're going to talk about the RMRs as well. The results.
We'll probably still make 2 hours, but
as we always do. But not really a super eventful week, let's just say.
And Striker was late, so he has to stay back in class for 10 minutes. Okay, so Brollan has been loaned to MOUZ from the Ninjas in pajamas. So Brollan will be playing. So they must have liked him over there in the Abu Dhabs where he stood in for the Blast event. So this one here, look, he's a young lad, right? Everyone seems to like Brollan. Everybody wants to see him return to some good form. And I can imagine for his age group of being, like I mentioned, a young lad with a team full of young lads, I guess it probably clicked and they enjoyed their time. So I feel as well, giving him an opportunity to play in a team like this, he must be very happy about it. I see people who crop up and they're like, oh, yeah, but didn't you say in Fnatic you didn't want to play in an English-speaking team? I'm pretty sure...
He doesn't have a choice, man, at this point. Like, I think he understands Sweden's not the way to go at the moment.
I don't even know if that was the case, though. Like, that feels just like a throwaway comment, don't you? Like, that Fnatic roster at the time was...
Karn literally said it, and, like, that's where it came from. I don't think it was Brollan specifically. Brollan actually did allude to it as well. Because he was asked about it several times, because then he went to an IP, which also then became international. So like people asked him about it, and he's like, yeah, but I'm okay with it now. Obviously, like, what else would you say? What would you say?
Yeah.
But like, if you're him, there were some things about. I think Brollan even himself said that there was like a possible Swedish team in the works. Like, there was at least an idea of a Swedish team in the works, and I heard the same. Like during the kind of like the biggest part of the roster mania, when like Hampus got benched and Brollan got benched, and all this stuff. That's the point. Over. And then Nock re-signed, and that was very clear that was not going to happen, because he would have been a key piece of that. And then you have people like Isaac, and I don't know who we're missing. Joel's. It would have been time.
It was not Joel or Joel's. It was from what I heard, it was Hampus, Brollan, Nock, Isaac, and Nilo.
Oh, then
Exist would be the coach. That's what I heard.
That was like an idea. I just didn't work out. I think eventually, like, I feel like probably Nock felt like Apex was a better call in the future wise. I would imagine, that's why he ended up resigning, and that just falls through in that moment. Everybody just goes their separate ways. Also, it's probably not so easy to pitch somebody a Swedish core of players.
Especially because like what I heard was NIP was asking for a lot for Hampus and Brollan, especially if they go together and then take over. Like, now they have a Swedish. I don't want to say super team, but like ambitious project, right?
They would definitely take some of the lightning from NIP, who still kind of hail themselves as Swedish and want to, at least in part, have those roots. So I think like from all these
gone now. Come on now, NIP.
Yeah, but they were still like, even now, they were still saying
one Swede.
Yeah, and they moved the academy to an international team as well, even though like the core is still Swedish. But they are making another academy that's going to be all Swedish apparently. But anyway, like, you understand the point, right? Like, selling a whole, like, first of all, some of the bios would have been high. Then getting all the Swedish players under one org would have been difficult. Like, finding the right org. And so like future wise, if you're like a guy like Nock, if you're a guy like Isaac, I don't know what his deal with Game Religion is. At the moment, maybe he's also re-signed or something, and we're still yet to hear about it. But like, it probably wouldn't have been a thing. So like, if you don't build that, then Sweden's dead. Like, you don't really have a second good option. Like, everything else is kind of like grassroots. It's not like, some of these teams like GACKZ and what's the other team at eSport, right? That's the team. Yeah. Like, those are like decent teams. They have some good pieces, but like you're not going to get to like elite events consistently with those, you know. So if you're Brollan, you of course you're going to go to MOUZ.
Oh yeah, but this is interesting to see, right? So it's did they put the amount of time on the loan? I think
it's
3 months.
It might have been until the end of the major, but I don't know if.
Checking now. I'm checking it. I'm
checking if they said anything about it.
I suppose it
multi-month loan.
Multi-month loan. Did they say that?
I made this up.
Okay.
But everyone's just saying it's multi-year.
Multi-month.
Yeah. Okay.
Multi-day.
Brollan has become part of MOUZ, joining on loan for an IP. Bring a wealth of experience. Standard appearances later. Okay. Well,
I'm just looking at when he signed with an IP. So he signed with an IP in early 2022. So like you would imagine he has another year on his contract at the moment because it's this like 2 years from then. So there's no way it's more than like whatever 6 months.
Well, this works out for both, right? Parties. If it goes well and they like Brollan, then they'll probably try and snatch him up on a more permanent basis, which is where I guess if NIP have dynamic pricing on their buyout, then maybe it goes up. Or if it doesn't go well and MOUZ shit the bed and they don't get the results they're looking for, then they can search someone else that isn't Brollan. So I guess just with the major rolling around so quickly, this makes a lot of sense for the team. So we'll get to see more of them taking place actually tomorrow, because tomorrow is when the closed qualifiers kick off for the RMRs, and MOUZ are one of the teams. So
and they play against eyeballers.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. We do have a little bit of a Swedish conversation to be had.
That's
okay.
Pretty hype. Pretty nice. Pretty nice to see JW going to this state of the RMR or the major cycle essentially, and we'll see
play against his former teammates.
If they have like more gas in the tank and they go further. Like they showed some promise last year after like Flusha retired, and they found a new fifth, and domestically they've been pretty solid and some international online success. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we have another Swedish team at the RMR, which would be pretty cool.
Can you just show this, Lucas? It's funny how like it almost seems like we're trying to start something, you know, with like if you go down to the lineups and you go for the two highlighted players.
Oh yeah,
it's so funny that it's Brawl against JW. Even though like this is statistic, you know, this is statistical, so it's like it's absolutely automatic. We don't specifically assign these,
but it's a
like
storyline.
If you go down to lineups, there you go. Like Brawl against JW. It's just so
JW
cool.
111 rating. Can't fuck with that, you know.
No, not bad.
Well, we're going to be talking a bit more about the eyeballers shortly. There's 3 things that I need to acknowledge. I had them in chat. Someone wanted me to say performance. They didn't like that. I guess they had an issue with the way that I was doing that. Someone wanted me to close the door, but I live on my own and I want to allow the air to circulate. And there was one more question, not about the hat. There was something else in here.
Something about the beard?
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Did you trim the beard yourself, or did you go somewhere?
No, I went to a barber.
Yeah, okay.
A proper barber. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, I'd be impressed if that was you.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely can't do that myself. Okay, little next piece of news we could jump into here. EG officially leaves Counter-Strike. Great. The writing was on the wall. The players were being released. We saw this all happening over a period of time. The management was run by a bunch of. Oh, I was going to use some choice language there. I just really restrained myself.
Dodged the bullet.
So Dimitri didn't have to delete the word that I say, the algorithm and the like. So great. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, or whatever. I don't give a fuck.
The automatic tweet said it all. What did he say?
I missed the prison or whatever.
I enjoyed jail, whatever. I was like, yeah, if automatic is shitting on you, then you know you did like you had a few missteps. That's
apparently Valens is staying there though. Isn't he staying as like head of esports or something like that? I probably got the term wrong, but he's staying over there.
That sounds great. Head of esports of
no
what?
Teams.
Yeah, they have like Valorant and they're just only writing it out there. So I'm not understand. Head of gaming.
Head of gaming
is the title.
It is hilarious, though, how the bad management that everybody said was bad ran a bad job and it all went bad. So that, who would have thought?
Exactly right.
Who would have thought that one was going to happen? So that's about it, really. I don't really. I even during the time, I think my stance on EG was if they want to like burn money, that's up to them, right? I didn't even bother bitching about them because it was just so fucking pathetic. It felt like I was just punching down too much. It was like, kicking a puppy or something. It's like, what?
And it's like, it was even worse in other games. There were a lot of reports about like mishandling of the players, like mistreatment, of some of the players, that like making them burn out and all that stuff. There was a lot of bad things being reported about the EG from other games as well, for people who don't know. Like, I'm sure, like, just Google it. Like, there's like 3-4 different reports that were all pretty damning, which is like, and that's outside of Counter-Strike, which, okay, wasn't maybe bad in terms of treatment or how it was being run, but it definitely bad in terms of results and driven to the ground. So what can you do?
Yeah, I mean, Richard wrote, I don't know how many. I saw too many articles and videos. I'm like, how many can he do on this team? Like, what the fuck is going on there? I read like first few, and then most of them were about Dota. So I'm like, okay, I'm just giving up. This is a lost cause, right?
And of course, he also gave him like one of his awards, which is like, he's calling Gonzo Awards because that's like what his old nickname or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like just shitting on everybody at the that things that he finds ridiculous. So I mean, just like get a room.
Yeah, it's not a sad day out there to see EG depart. Obviously, some people are like, oh, it's a shame to lose such a a big brand or whatever. But if these places are going to be co-opted by these fucking Muppets running them, then this is what's going to happen, right? So, okay, well, that's the recent news. I don't know if there's too much more that really was sticking out. This new young AWPer, I saw some people tweeting about Ukrainian kid. How do we say his name? Bermilov. Joins MOUZ NXT as an AWPer. Oh, there was this stuff about this cons guy cheating. Did you guys see this? This Estonian player?
I watched a few minutes of this demo review, and then I just gave up. I'm like,
isn't the demo review done by somebody from MOUZ NXT?
Yes. I'm like, what are we doing? How did we get here? How is this the standard that we subject ourselves to? Like, if a guy isn't like tracking someone for like 2 minutes or like insta headshotting everyone, I don't want to hear about a fucking demo review bans. Like, it's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
I'm not going to say one way or another. Like, I watched a little bit of stuff. I saw some videos getting posted and that type of shit, and I watched some of it. But when I was watching the one with the coach of MOUZ NXT reviewing it, I was like,
why is this uploaded? Like, what is happening here?
And it's also the bad thing is that, like, okay, this is the opponent of the team that he's representing, so that's like the whole point. Exactly, like, so using the evidence that somebody who's obviously very biased in this case, and using that as like expert
analysis,
of a case, that is shoddy already, So like the fact that they uploaded it on their own channel as like the reason for the ban, that's also a bit shoddy. Look, I'm not making it sound like he did cheat or didn't cheat. I'm just like, first of all, as Prof said, like, demo bans should be like that. Those should only come when it's like extremely obvious, like in a way where it's like, it's absolutely like you're just like constantly locking on people and like through the walls and like shooting at walls, like where people are standing, all this kind of stuff, like where it's happening like multiple times in the same round, things like that, where like it's absolutely undeniable that he's cheating, like, but things like that are just about like game sense, or like people just like seem to know that where that player is, that they know that there could be a player, things like that, even if it happens a lot in a match, it could be a bunch of coincidences. That's the problem. Like, unless you have very, very conclusive proof, like, you shouldn't be able to ban just on demo review. It feels like something that used to happen in, I don't know, 10 years ago when I was an admin, and like I did that as an admin in like a fucking local league that was like super shit, like didn't have any like sort of particular integrity, it's like crazy.
Mate, I remember playing back in Oz stuff, and we knew there was a couple guys, and they were players who, like, once they would play like national events, and they were really good on LAN. But we fucking knew online at home, they were loading up the cheaty G's, and they were having a good time, just being fucking scumbags. We knew they were cheating, right? We fucking knew, but we couldn't do anything about it. They didn't get caught by whatever dog tier anti-cheat we had back in the day. And like you're saying, you can't go around banning off of like a demo review, like, I mean, unless it is like spin botting.
At least I understand if it's like an unbiased expert or something like that. At least I can understand. But this is like so many alarm bells are ringing when I see like they banned him on the basis of the analysis of somebody who played against him and got eliminated by him. I think got eliminated. I actually don't know if they lost. I think they did lose to the Prodigies. So it's like, how can you use that as like your official review or official reason for his ban. You know,
it's just a huge. The damage it does for a player is insane. So that's why it's just like it's always the same. It's when we talked about people using the coach bug or like did players know and stuff like this, is like a lot of things might seem like they are a certain way, but unless you know, you are like subjugating a person that might be innocent to like so much shit, right? This might ruin someone's career just because he played stupid. Like there are some peaks I was like, oh, he's pre-aiming this, bro. He's not pre-aiming anything. Like it's so I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know where the angle is. That's the whole thing. It wasn't. I don't know. Didn't watch the whole thing, but shouldn't be happening in 2023. Just 2024 actually.
I think again, like I'm not here to say he is cheating or isn't cheating. It's just more about the way that this kind of stuff has been presented. I don't know if it's got legs, and that is the issue. That is why LAN is the holy grail, because we know that everybody's playing on the same circumstances and stuff, right? So, and I think the three of us have been through the scene more than long enough to see these things come and go, and that's not even at this modern day era, right? This is even just back in the day. So. This will be interesting to see how this one develops, or if it even does develop. I'm not sure what anybody can or will do about it. So we'll have to wait and see.
I had the cons on LAN.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like he came to like Gamebox, which we were for. But it was a Biok. So
he could have been cheating, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, he could have installed something, but like he couldn't have any radar or anything like that, and they still won everything.
Yeah,
there you
okay.
go.
So even I've like had these guys on LAN.
Maybe he's using new AI cheats or something.
So you can't even make that like famous line. Just do it on LAN. So you did it on LAN.
I mean, when you do it on LAN, it's the whole like you get a computer without internet and you set everything up with your configs and then you play. That's like do it on LAN.
But that's like do it hardcore on LAN. That's not just do it on LAN. It's like do it on LAN.
Yeah. But it as an admin, it's a bit weird uploading an explanation video with the coach from one of the teams. Like it was like the coach made a video arguing why they should have like gotten a ban, and then they're like, "Yeah, we agree, and here's why."
Yeah, like it wasn't even independently done. If it was like independently done or something, then maybe we can start having a conversation here. So what if I made a video on the contrary? Like, what are we doing?
Well, like imagine
Prodigy's fucking doing a video.
Exactly. I was gonna say like Prodigy's just upload their own fucking response to this, and what do the organizers do then? So there's
they
like, okay,
this is why we unbanned cons. Just to upload it like that.
That's what would happen, man. But this is fucking serious. I mean, I don't know. It's just the integrity is non-existent.
Yeah, it's fucking.
What is it? The loading screen in CS2 says, "Hey, sometimes your opponent just has a good day."
Has a good day.
Right. All right. We're going to transition right now and go into the major circuit conversation.
Wait. Did we talk about JACKZ, or am I crazy?
No.
Yeah, but
it dropped.
TSM missed out. We'll talk about them in the major circuit stuff,
fair
right? Because we're going to talk about bleed and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to transition to this conversation where we will talk more about cheating because of this Across anti-cheat and stuff. But can we start with Skinionaire? Lucas, are you ready to do Skinionaire?
Yeah. I mean, we can do it, but do we do ads after that?
Yeah, we'll do Skinionaire, then we'll do ads, and then we'll continue the conversation about the major circuit so far with the open and closed qualifiers and all that kind of good stuff. All right, cool. So we're going to be doing Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by Trader.gg. Type Trader in chat right now if you want to, enter. It's a raffle. You and everybody else in chat, type in Trader in chat. Have the opportunity to win a denomination of a skin that Prof and Striker are going to be answering questions for. We have 5 questions, multiple choice. Every question they get correct, the little slider will make its way up. There is a grand prize of a $50 skin available, and if they get fuck all correctly, it could be anywhere from $15, $7.50, $2.50, or 50 cents. So once more, Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by Trader.gg, and the both of you can work together here again this week. Gentlemen, are you ready to get things underway?
Striker just reset his headset. I think maybe he needs 5 seconds.
I'm good. I'm good.
You didn't miss a lot. All right, here we go. Quick.
Whatever. Yeah? I can. It doesn't matter anymore. SteelSeries doesn't sponsor the show. I was just gonna plug them, and I'm like, oh, fuck it.
All right. Oh, I can go back to where my Sennheiser headset.
But I will actually say, now that they're not sponsoring us, this headset is fucking amazing. I just literally changed the fucking battery. You got 2 batteries, and
why don't you say that while they were sponsoring us? Maybe they'd still be sponsoring us.
We were plugging this forever, man. But now it actually has value because they're not sponsoring. So this is actually absolutely independent.
Value before, but now maybe
a little bit more value.
Whoever our future peripheral sponsor is, I'm sure your headset's going to be even better.
I'm sure I like that one even better. Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. Question number 1. These questions are around the major cycle. The legend stage of the major has been renamed to what? Sudden death stage, elimination stage, or the weed out stage? Not to do with marijuana.
This is like the question for the $1,000 at the beginning of whatever.
Maybe weed in stage. What? It's B, whatever it is. I can't read. Elimination
Locking
stage.
in B. Correct answer
there
is
you go.
Elimination. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay,
All right.
we're good.
Good stuff. 1 from 1. All right, let's get into question number 2. Which of these 3 teams didn't retain their core 3 from the Paris Major? Into the Breach, Gamer Legion, or Fnatic?
Fnatic, yeah.
Into the Breach kept Thomas, or like brought back Thomas just to retain the core.
Yeah.
Did you see, talking about that, did you see Neil M's tweet? He put out a tweet saying,
what's Neil been up to?
Open qualifiers over. ITB are looking for an emergency sub for the RMR. The player can be registered even if played any qualifier. If interested, DM.
Oh, I wonder who for.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. What? Oh, this could get very juicy, couldn't it? Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay, it's like 3 hours ago.
And Into the Breach have Rallen, Crucial, Thomas, Masuta, and Bemis. It's Rallen, Crucial, and Thomas that make up the core. I suppose one of them could be... Yeah, okay. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, yeah, okay. Masuda and Bemis to round out that roster. All right, question number 3. How many teams from the EU closed qualifiers go to the EU RMRs? Is the answer 16, 17, or 21?
21.
21. Okay. He's got Broads in Atlanta. You want me to lock in 21?
I just know it's 8, and then from the last chance is 5, so it's 21.
There we go. He knows the numbers.
So that's kind of crazy. There's 32 teams playing in the EU closed qualifiers, and 21 of the teams go to the RMRs. That's fucking good odds.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, so from the decider teams, there's 6 teams. So that's the 2-3 teams in the Swiss go to a fucking little decider bracket, and only one team misses out. Imagine that. Imagine you're the one team.
I just read the Neelam thing over, and could it just mean that they're just looking for somebody decent enough to register just in case something happens? I feel like that's what it means.
We'll have to get Neelam on the line. We'll have to call him in. We should have a red phone with Neil's name on it. All right,
I'll message him.
Question number 4. Prof's going to message him while we do question 4. Who is the highest ranked team as per HLTV World Rankings in the EU's closed qualifier? Is it A, VP, B, Na'Vi, or C, MOUZ?
It's MOUZ. They're number 3, so MOUZ is in the close qualifier. So
I thought this was gonna be hard.
Yeah, I was gonna do hard, but then I just do some fucking.
What was the hard question?
None of them are hard, man. They're all easy.
But what did you want to do as a hard question? I'm curious.
I don't know. I was gonna fucking do results that happened, but you guys didn't watch, so that'd be bullshit unfair because you were at the award show and stuff. So it wouldn't have been cool.
Yeah, some of that. No, like from open qualifiers or some shit.
Yeah, well, here's a hard one. This is the hardest one. Question number 5. NIG was eliminated from the open qualifiers by who? Boss, Rocket, or Badass?
Rocket.
It was Rocket.
That's correct.
I read this news. And congrats to us and congrats to you, Chad, already getting one prediction in. Did Greyhound go through or they didn't play it?
Greyhound, they haven't played. Well, they have to qualify through the Oz closed qualifier first, and then they go to the RMR. So the winner of the $50 voucher for trade.gg, our lovely skin sponsor, is Retrack, RITRACK. Been following since 2022. Congratulations to Retrack or Rytrack or fucking Pikachu, however you say your name. Our people reach out. I was thinking Raichu, but then I just backed up. Yeah. He's devolved, not evolved. Our people reach out to your people.
Crazy chain logic, man.
Yeah, man. My brain is on fire right now. It's on all cylinders. Don't you worry about that. All right. We'll reach out to you. We'll get you the voucher for the skin, and you can buy yourself something nice over there at tradeit.gg, our lovely skin sponsor. All right. Let's keep this rolling. Let's get into the ads, and we'll BRB with some conversation.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Do you want to change your boring old skins for awesome new ones fast without losing a lot of value and without the risk of getting scammed? Go to tradeit.gg and safely trade your items within 60 seconds. Just select which items you want to trade from your inventory and choose whatever skin you want from Tradeit's inventory. Click Trade, verify the trade on Steam, and you're good to go. With the biggest inventory available for the lowest trading fees on the market, Tradeit.gg is your go-to whenever you want to play with new skins.
That's the quickest ad break you guys never paid for. So that's 40 seconds of your life you won't get back, but we'll get to keep it. And we're going to cherish that 40 seconds together, all of us. You at home, us here, and anybody watching from the future on the mediums of YouTube, Spotify, and all that other good stuff. So yeah, we're going to keep this one going. And as mentioned, we're going to be talking about, the major circuit thus far. So we've had open qualifiers going on. We've had closed qualifiers as far as North America is concerned. So maybe we start with NA and just quickly, leap off of that point of NRG not qualifying. So the fact that they didn't make it through the open qualifiers is pretty fucking brutal.
That's rough, man, because like we were even talking about this chat when we were like traveling back or something, that there's like 7 relevant teams in NA, and it's like, something would have to happen like for one of them not to make it, for them to like meet weirdly and like against each other all the time or something. Didn't even have to happen.
Yeah. And Lucas, I'm going to link right now the teams who are currently in attendance for the America's RMR in Monterrey, because we still have to have the South American qualifiers to go down. Furia is already in based off of their placement at the previous major. But the teams that qualified through that North American closed qualifier were Complexity Wildcard, which is Stanislaw's team. I think the really interesting thing about Stanislaw's team is, like we've seen Infinite before, like his name popped up at one point. Sonic, we know, obviously, the South African. He's been around the traps for a little bit longer. But then you look at these other 2 new gentlemen.
Bro, wait. Wildcard's coach is Horvey, the Brazilian guy who was like at the point like touted as the next big thing, and then had like a few other teams kind of. That's also crazy.
Wait, you're right. Crazy. What the fuck happened there?
Where did he come from, Brollan?
What?
That's crazy.
That's really interesting. We have to get to maybe not right now, but we'll have to send a detective squad out to find out how that situation unfolded. That's very curious. Okay. So Horvey, the coach,
that he's coaching too, so that's kind of crazy.
Interesting. And then it was the 2 newer bucks that I was going to mention, Slight and JBA. Are these names that have ever really come across your desk? Slight is 21. JBA looks, I was going to say he's got baby face, 19. Yeah. So they're 2 newer young guns that Stanislaw's got under his wing here. I think it's pretty impressive that Stanislaw was able to get this team through, and I'm pretty sure they went through in the 3-0 fashion, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, people are saying JBA was impressive. JBA is the future. JBA is nice with it. So this is all cool, like Zoomer lingo, I guess we're using here. So that's some good props that they're getting. So I thought that was curious. Boss, M80, Liquid, Rocket, Badass, and Nouns. Nouns announced Dren, part of the coaching staff, alongside of Semphis. Which is the team with the guys that nobody likes? Is that Badass? I think it's Badass. Like with Snav and those guys, Shane. No. I think they have a pretty bad reputation in America. I remember Elise putting some...
Note was in chat. I don't know if he can fill us in. I don't know if he still is. Did he just tune in for the giveaway? That would be actually kind of hilarious.
I don't think... Can he win? Is not even allowed to win?
Well, I guess he can do whatever he wants.
Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Nouns are pretty decent. They had... some roster changes. I guess CJ the King came in recently.
They got rid of Cynic, right?
Cynic was there. He went to he's now in Boss, but like these 2 teams like Badass and Rocket, I barely know any names. Like I haven't seen them at all. So I think that's cool to have them at the RMR, see if there's something there, maybe some new talent coming through in NA, right? and same with like JBA, who has good stats. So combination with Sonic and Stanislav, who I thought Sonic was out of playing competitively, but I guess that one game against Device, he just got, he's like, fuck it, fuck it, I'm going
can
back
still do
around.
it. No, but we're actually doing something on JBA. Notes is talking to some people about him, so there's going to be something coming out. I don't know what point, but yeah.
Awesome. It was great to see, like, you know, the up and coming talent from that part of the world. Be nice to get somewhat of a North American resurgence at some point, but we'll be joined over there in the Americas RMR by 7 teams from the South American qualifier. We can check in on that, I suppose, at some point as we're going through this evening.
Yeah, Liquid doing well. Like, they lost one game to MAT, but other than that, they've been looked pretty good. And
they've had some close games. I know they're like, best at ones, but they've had some close games. And I mentioned this the other day. I think it was yesterday when I was doing the talk and counter stuff. And someone said, "Oh, Sponge, like, why are you giving Liquid a hard time over online results, but you were letting G2 off the hook?" And I just think it's two completely different kettles of fish. Online in Europe is like actual competition, and online in North America is kids who aren't even like semi-professional is not a word. What they do is they probably win FPL to make some money. Whereas like the teams that G2 are playing online, they're playing against like Aurora, who are probably, I don't know how much they get paid to play, but they would definitely get paid.
They're playing full time in terms of hours. They're playing like the 7, 8, 9, 10 hours probably, especially the Eastern European teams that are usually grinding more than even the Western European teams, let's just say.
Yeah, I just the Liquid stuff, I get it's early on in the team's development, but when I look at the class and caliber of every player on that roster, I'm not expecting. I know how Counter-Strike goes. You lose the pistol, you force buy. The 3rd round you have to eco. The 4th round's the gun round. You lose that you had to save 2 guns. You're fucking 4 or 5 rounds in the hole. I get it. We're doing MR12 now as well, so it can get away from you. But I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more domination, and maybe that's an unrealistic expectation of me. And maybe Liquid will show up to the Blast groups next week and just absolutely, roll over teams. Maybe there's more teething issues with bringing Katie into the fold and the way they want to approach the game than maybe I've given it credit for.
I mean, some of the games were domination. There were some 16-4, 16-2s, yeah, but the game like Wildcard, 16-12, overtime, 13-11 against Loss and shit like that.
The RMR was even kind of rough too. Like, not rough, but like pretty close.
Honestly, in my eyes, these are good results. As long as you avoid anything, at no point were they like in danger of not going through. First open qualifier, they go through. RMR, they lose one best of one. Now they're playing the IM China qualifier. They went through the open qualifier. Like, in my opinion, this is great. Like, if they qualify for both of these things, that's a great great start for the team, that they have like 2 tournaments coming up, and obviously the RMR is a must like that there's no way around. They have to get to the major. They have to get to the major.
I think that's a fair surmise of the situation.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe let me see if I can bring up some of the South American stuff here as well. I'm just going to do a bit of clicking around right now. I guess some of the names that we'd be expecting from South America, right? Like Fluxo, like Imperial, like who else is there other than Furia, right? Taco's team didn't make it. Everyone's fucking up in arms about that. Prof can't believe it. Taco dodged the fucking award show to lose in an open qualifier. Prof, comments?
I was like within hours though, didn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess it was a bit of a miscalculation on his side in terms of like committing to both things, which were kind of impossible. It was funny to get that. It was funny to get like an email from his manager being like, "Oh, he can't come," and then like 5 hours later he's eliminated. So I'm like, okay, I guess this was kind of obvious that this was gonna happen, and like, but whatever. That shit happens. Maybe, hopefully he comes next year. I got there's a comment somewhere on Instagram or something like, "Why is there no Brazilian representation at the award show?" I'm like, first of all, none of them are nominated for anything except Fluxo Demons, the women's team, which we flew out and they have the boot camp after. And let's just say flying from Brazil on like no notice is pretty expensive. They're definitely the most expensive team to get there at the award show. So we did our best to have Brazilian representation. We reached out to everyone, but Furia also was starting their boot camp and stuff like that. So
they're in Malta at the moment. So Fallen, I didn't physically see him, but I saw in his story. Lucas, I just linked. I don't know if you've brought it up or not. I just linked. If you can scroll down to where all the teams are. So this is for the South American RMR closed qualifier. I obviously missed some key names, MIBR being one of them. I'd say MIBR is the favorite of all this. 9Z, so people were saying, bloody Max, DGT, Buddha still going. Martinez joining this team, which was quite a curious one. We spoke about that a couple of weeks ago. Big Azera still in pain. Imperial, obviously, just flicking through here. Who else is really Legacy, Cold Zeros? Yeah,
same names that you would kind of expect that you would see in these close qualifiers and RMRs previously. So, no huge surprises, honestly. I think like the fact that Fluxor is ranked so low, I guess they just haven't been playing stuff because they're still on the Valve ranking. So they got through and they're chilling. It's just a bunch of classic names, Bestia as well, like Argentinians. Actually, no surprises here in terms of teams.
Well, 7 names from this list get through, so just under 50% of the field. So we'll keep up with that one. That one is starting on Friday, 19th to the 21st for that one there. And if people, like, obviously you've had the award show going on, Prof, so you've been pretty snowed under, but I've been watching now as we can transition into, I guess, talking more about the European side of things. I've been watching like a lot of these games. A lot of different people are streaming, and Maui's doing North American games and European games. I'm watching Olaf, whether he's playing or whether he's sitting there with Exist in TeamSpeak, and they're talking about the matches and stuff. You can always find a game. Now, personally, I'm more enjoying the streams that I'm tuning into. Like, I think Smooya had someone stream on his behalf and was casting and stuff. I've been enjoying more of these like chill hangs where they're just talking about the games as they're happening and flicking through, and like this team beat this team, that's mean these guys are going to play these guys, because the Swedes, there's a big contingent on them. I think Vendetta was in there for a little while with them. I know he's not Swedish, but
I was watching one with like Exist and Vendetta and Brollan as well. And Olaf. It was really nice.
Those kind of things, just having those general conversations, you kind of feel like you're a fly on the wall and everyone's watching the CS together and you're hearing the comments about what's happening and stuff. So yeah, like I've been enjoying that kind of the atmosphere that it's been providing. So that's been a good little bit of fun. And there's plenty more of that happening because tomorrow is when the closed kicks off for Europe. That's good.
Is closed also open to be streamed to everyone?
I believe so.
I think you need to be somewhere on a Discord or something to get the...
Well, that was the case initially with the Open. But then in the bracket, right, on Challenger mode, it just started to become available that you could just click and get the IP through the bracket and you didn't need to request anymore. Because I joined the Discord and stuff as soon as I saw that was the case, because I thought that maybe I was going to stream some of the Open games. I never really got around to it. I've just been playing too much Face It. But yeah, you can just get the IPs pretty easily. And I've been loving the community aspect of it. There's obviously the IEM Chengdu. I tried to leak that on that show we did with the calendar, and nobody fucking picked up on it. I said Chengdu before it was even announced. No one even picked up. Yeah.
I honestly thought that was already out, so
those
I didn't even know at that time that it was going to be Chengdu. So
bro, Sponge in this leaker era. So it's like leaking everything.
I didn't even mean to. I actually thought it was out as well. I didn't actually.
So somebody got in touch and you like told
nobody said anything to me. So I guess nobody even realized that I said it.
Nobody else noticed either.
Nah, that's funny as. And I've also said in like past episodes where the fucking fall event is going to be, and people haven't even like picked up on that one either. So I was like, oh, okay. I've just everyone keeps speculating if it's going to be in Australia, and I've said no,
about 1 million times.
Not in Australia. As far as I'm aware, there's no plans to go back to Australia for an IEM anytime in the near future. So
where is it going to be?
Now I can't. If people are
too much focus
attention.
on that, like
is it going to be in Brazil?
It's going to be in a country that we've been to before. How's that sound?
Well,
there you go.
Seems like it's not Antarctica, man.
There you go. You guys can
IEM Katowice too.
You can go, yeah, right. They're going to run a second one of those in the year. All right, but let's jump into some of these European teams. Now, this is where I want the help from our friends in Twitch chat. And that's why I'm calling you our friends. throw names out there now, guys, of teams that you thought, or teams that the bigger names of stature that didn't get through the open qualifiers. Just throw them out there. Throw them into the world, and we'll talk about them one at a time. We can start with TSM because we started talking about that briefly just before. Obviously, there's this JACKZ news of him no longer being on the roster or benched over there at TSM. Who
I got the chat going.
It did. They love it. They're fucking active. Everyone's saying bleed. Valder, Moto, Inters, Joel, and JACKZ was there with Regin as the newly appointed coach. Joel being that more recent addition. But ever since they didn't qualify for the closed portion of the qualifiers, JACKZ is now benched. So any surprises with this one, gentlemen?
I mean, the surprise maybe is that like they only made like the top 32 once in 4 qualifiers, which is kind of crazy to me that even that far they didn't get on any occasion. I would have to go back and look through who they actually lost to. I remember, I know I read most of it and like I was following most of it, but I don't even remember half of those. One of them was Havo. That's the one that they actually made it that far. But for the rest, I would have to go back. That is a massive, like they didn't even get close. That's the point, you know?
Yeah, I look, this is another team that I never even really paid too much attention to. It just didn't feel like I was ever going to make a splash. They're stuck in this like Extremum style online tier 2, tier 3 tumble dry type situation. And I guess that's a nice little alley-oop, isn't it, Prof, into the bleed situation. Everybody enjoying or not enjoying this one for what it is. Bleed obviously not checking in for the third qualifier. How do we feel about the fact that the qualifier was limited in the first place? How does that make you feel?
Doesn't
1,024 teams.
Doesn't feel that good, but it also makes sense in a way because like it takes a specific amount of time to finish a bracket, right? So you saw what happened. Obviously, then you can maybe start earlier in the day, but then you know that also makes it like you're playing so many hours of Counter-Strike, you know. So
but it's also because of working people and stuff like that, and like anybody who works can't actually play in them and
with
all
the
that.
Times. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because like during the week you want to start at X, Y, Z and shit like that.
Hold up. Shouldn't it be open to everybody? Isn't it the whole point?
I mean, if it's open doesn't mean that everyone can play at the same time. It just means that everyone can play.
So
obviously it wasn't in the rules as well. So then it wasn't challenger mode, but wasn't on the rules. I'm just playing kind of devil's advocate here. I think ideally, obviously, it would be good to have that, but it just seems like a bunch of these problems are like oversights and not really thinking it through, and then just being like, oh well, it is what it is. It's 1,000 teams, right?
China had 3,000.
That was the crazy part. Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense if you compare the population, but still, it's kind of even from like the reception that people got at the CS Asia Championships, like you know, fans swarming players and all that stuff at 24/7, and we literally hadn't seen that before, even in China. You know, like we just suddenly the game just got huge apparently there over the past a couple of years,
which is cool.
Yeah, I mean that is super cool. I mean to be like. If you actually look at it, you know, 1,500 people that registered for the that's 15,000. Sorry, 15,000 people. You know, how many people live in China? It's like 1 something billion.
Well, look, just other than the China population, there's a couple of interesting things in chat right now. Liam G has said it was written on the rules on Challenger mode from day one. The rules said explicitly if there was more than 1,024, only the first 1,024 would get in. How the hell did I know? But Bleed, a professional team, didn't. Yeah, okay. That you can get behind. For me, the bigger picture is like it should be open to everybody to be able to play. I don't know if there should be a limit on an open qualifier for a major. I don't think that's really in the spirit of what Valve would be wanting to achieve. But there were 4 different qualifiers, so maybe you could make an argument from that perspective. But yeah, that's a good point, especially a team of that. And then I think it was Tiger N. Was it Tiger N who just said this? He said that if you could post the match link, Mr. Tiger, or maybe it's Tagurin, said Bleed lost today to a 2.4K to 3.1 ELO in IEM Chengdu hours ago. Yeah,
there was like super random team that had like one Czech guy, like somebody passed this on to me. It's like absolutely random, like completely out of the, like nobody really knows who these guys are.
Going from bad to worse, isn't it?
Kind of rough.
Well, we know that if Bleed are gonna, because we've postulated, we've speculated, we've discussed about this previously. If they didn't make the major, which I don't think, even if they made it to the closed or made it to the RMR, I still don't think they would have made the major. That if this org does stick around in the Counter-Stricken, that likely to go for roster changes after the major has come to its conclusion, right? But now you've got essentially, today is the 17th of January. The major ends on the 31st of March. Teams who are getting eliminated in the lead into that, players would start to become available for them. But it's essentially 2 months of just smashing your head against a brick wall until other players become available, right? Like, what do you even do now?
I mean, there's going to be the CCTs and there's going to be the online grind of all of the tournaments, right? Maybe some ESCA or whatever it's called today, ESL Challenger, right? That you can play and see what pieces are good, how the players work together, you know, and where you need to change, because like realistically, we're still talking about Bleed, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just to check.
Chad is like, unfortunately, yes.
I mean, they had no time. They had no time, honestly, to do anything. This team came together like a week or two before the RMR qualifier. Like, anything can happen. Open qualifiers are not easy, long days, and you know, especially when shit like not checking in happens, that can really, think the mentality of the team can really go to shit. So them losing today is, yeah, obviously they need to play. They're not going to not play an open qualifier for something, but your headspace is probably not the best if you don't qualify for the closed, for the major, because that's what you want, where you want to be, right?
Yeah. But you made a good point in the sense that they've only been together for a short period of time, right? I think that is a key point, and a lot of people out there will be like, yeah, but they lost to fucking nobodies, right? Okay, whatever. That's besides the point here. But with the ambition of the project, and I think kassad was hoping to get some bigger names signed to his team that you know, he would have felt stronger about. But even still, doesn't it feel like outside the realms of what is realistically possible, considering how cutthroat we know these qualifiers and everything to be in this realm? Like, what odds, if you guys had to, would you have put on this, you know, even if he did grab a bigger name or two, have even been possible for them to stick the landing on? Like, I just feel like it wasn't going to happen either way with the time frame that we're dealing with, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can get tough even for teams who are established. So like the fact that they didn't get through, like, isn't a massive surprise to me, at least. Like, I mean, they literally got put together just like 2 weeks ago is when they started practicing or something, you know. So like in that time, you're obviously not going to be a very well set up team. You would think that with the individuals they have, they should at least qualify for the quals. But I mean, again, like you put it right, like it's not easy to play these open qualifiers at all.
Yeah, I don't know, Prof. How does it make you feel, Prof?
That Bleed didn't go through?
Yeah. What kind of feeling does it leave you with?
Kind of sad, honestly. Like, I wish them some success, right? So kind of sad, but that's the reality of competition.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah,
that's why we watch. You know, we want to see the success, but we also want to see the failures. You know, and a lot of people want to see kassad's failures because he's been a very outspoken guy. But that's not. It's just how people are. You know, it's a negative emotion. Is just you feel it more, so you can get more invested, and then that's it. So, you know, people now shit on everything kassad says. He posted like the practice schedule, completely normal practice schedule. People are like, why did you move the lunch on this day? It's like, bro, what are these comments?
Like, just everybody has an opinion. That's the problem.
Yeah,
like,
and everyone thinks like they're the smartest in the room. You've never seen a practice schedule in your life. What are you talking about? Literally, what are you talking about? Like,
I mean, the fact that, I mean, I was like okay with like the random saying that, but when I saw like KRL, who has like speaks to pro players on a daily basis and all that stuff, doesn't understand what a bootcamp schedule, where you literally like, you've been put together two weeks ago, and you think like, okay, it's gonna be a breeze in the first month when you have to play like literally major qualifiers during that time. Like, you have to grind really hard if you want to have a chance. Like, there's no way going around it. Like, even
I feel like that
was like
must have been like bait.
I don't know, but it might have been. I don't know. But
I don't know.
He was like doubling up on it in like comments to other people. It's like, I didn't understand this one day specifically. Like, I didn't understand. I'm like, just like because of one day, like you felt like you needed to say like this schedule is shit?
I think there's a lot of like I was talking to Yanko about this yesterday, and he's kind of questioning from the perspective of like why is kassad even posting this stuff,
right?
And I think that's an interesting angle to look at it from.
I think in my opinion, what he is doing is making sure that the org is relevant regardless of the results, and I think that's pretty good, right? Not maybe from the aspect of what you're saying of like getting players in, but you need the org probably wants to be in the space, be talked about, right? Be relevant. So people are like, okay, Bleed exists, and not be like, TSM, who was Blade tweeted today is like, I forgot this org, like this team existed. And like, I did too. I forgot so many times. I was like, oh, TSM. Oh yeah, that team, Bleed for, didn't do anything result wise, but people are still talking about them all the time. And that will get them invites. That will get, people are still excited about the team, even if it is negatively. So I think what he's doing is he's just kind of PRing for the team to be kind of a mini Henry G and Cloud9 moment, right? He's not going that way out, but he is creating, I think the transparency is creating some sort of a fan base. Like people can appreciate what he's doing. I also think it's pretty cool.
Interesting angle to look at it from. Okay. But again, because he's been a bit of a polarizing figure on the broadcast, the way he's talked about EG, obviously the tweet he made to HooXi,
he didn't waste any time replying to that, by the way.
He didn't. And Lucas even had it ready to go. Yeah, the people in chat are out for blood, and so is Lucas apparently. So HooXi, as soon as Bleed were eliminated from the possibility of even being able to play in the closed qualifier, HooXi's come in for a bit of a swipe of his own here. He's said, I was watching kassad. I was watching you ruin Bleed's chances to qualify for the closed RMR qualifier. Now take responsibility and leave. Now, funny, but kassad obviously couldn't contribute during the online matches. Now, do we want to pull that? Do we want to pull that technicality out here, everybody?
Imagine if he said that. Like, imagine if kassad comes out and says, like, yeah, but I wasn't actually part of the qualifier.
kassad did also tweet back, not at him directly, but kassad tweeted, "Let me find it. This is fun. This is fun. I hope nobody thinks this is like super serious and shit." But kassad tweeted yesterday, "The war continues, Mr. Nielsen."
I saw that. When I saw that, I was like, did like Entropic get disqualified or some shit that like Bleed got in or something? I was checking like all the fucking resources that I could. It's like, did they get back? Like, did they get into the qualifier or something?
Yeah, I think the problem is now that kassad is not like a pundit, he's not on broadcast or anything. The only way that he can actually have any responses is through results, being a coach, and so it's going to be an uphill battle to get there, I imagine. But these are the fun things, and these nuggets are nice, right? These can stew and build quite nicely, and then maybe one day we can reap the rewards of this funny business. So
I would also say that it's taking, at least for now, we'll see how it goes down the line, but it's also taking the pressure off the actual players. Like everybody's like just hating on kassad because he's the target, lightning rod. He's like the lightning rod for all the hate. So I feel like that's also probably relieving some pressure from the players who, I'm guessing they wouldn't have gotten like that much negativity, considering how new of a team that is and all that stuff. And none of them are like hated players either. I think everybody likes Hampus. Everybody likes like Faven, even if he's had some weird times like in the big period. Like none of these players are people that people like would just send negativity towards, maybe except for like Cirque for the EG time and for like being a paycheck stealer or whatever.
Well, we didn't talk about this before, but Breeze and NRG, like, fucking hell, man. Like, if you're not farming online tier 2 Counter-Strike in North America, what are you doing? Like,
that is rough.
What are you doing? Someone tell me. You were once he was a top 20 player in the world, wasn't he? Once upon a time. Did Breeze ever make top 20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was number 20 even. Twice even, actually. 2019, he was number 8.
Yeah, it's kind of sad that he's fallen off so hard. But how old is Breeze? He can't be more than 25.
Like 25, yeah, he is.
He's 25 on the nose, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, he is. Okay. Sad, man. That's just sad. The demise of a guy who's only 25. All right. Well, that's a bit of a shame. Okay. Other people were throwing some names out. Prof, you were relatively enjoying this roster when we had it break last time we were doing an episode was Pari matches, Ross. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
PARIVISION. Yeah.
I did not see anything from the team, I have to say. So, but
I watched their overpass loss. It was very uninspiring. They weren't doing anything.
I'm pretty disappointed with the lineup, with what the lineup is. And I think like compared to Bleed, at least they have like a core of players. Not a core. They have 2 players that were here already, but they're also like same kind of area style of play. Mostly Russian players, not like from all over the place. So I expected it to kind of gel quicker than Bleed if you're comparing these 2 lineups. Even though I think they came together kind of at the same time. Maybe PARIVISION had a bit more time, but like, for me, pretty disappointing that like Jerry can't even get to like the close qual, and just like Artford, I just like the whole team seems pretty good. Like they should be at their RMR.
Good pieces.
These players should be at their RMR. So that's pretty sad, but still, there's we'll give it a bit more time.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that was one of the names that I was interested to see how they were going to be trending throughout. Havu was another one. I think people were wanting Havu to do quite well, but that's because also they're a little bit higher in the world rankings. They're ranked 22nd in the world, right? Havu also bombed out. What other names did we have? There's a lot of names that bombed out, right? Like 9, but that was just a newly put together Polish team because of what had happened with the core of that team going over towards ENTS. Apparently, ENTS struggled in the IEM China qualifiers as well.
I mean, they just got out.
Yeah. Where is there a bracket for that somewhere? Like those matches weren't on HLTV, were they? No,
No, I mean it's the same deal for everything. I think they only go there
once they hit a certain point of the
top
tournament.
16, I think for the major would have been top 32 because we want to extend that. But I think for the normal open qualifiers, it's top 16.
Yeah. Okay. So there was just so many teams. Smooth's team didn't get through the Witches. It was giving it a good hard crack. Maybe let's take a look at the teams who did, because today we got the announcement of the schedule and the groups as well for the closed qualifiers, which are going to be starting tomorrow. Let's start with Group A. Lucas, I'll put the link in TeamSpeak for you. The matches start tomorrow at 4 p.m. for both groups, and it's going to be running simultaneously. Actually, it's probably easier off of... fuck it. We'll just do a group at a time. Don't worry about it here.
I mean, there's if you go into the most recent article, there's also the schedule, and they're both in like the same scrolling past. So maybe just go into that. That's going to be the best.
Right, hold on, let me link that here, so you can show. That can show all the teams at once and who they're playing in the opening matches. Here it is.
Yeah, that's pretty
bring this one up, Lucas. Apologies, mate. But I can start reading through it here. So for the closed qualifiers for Group A or 1 or whatever, however you want to label it. You've got VP versus Sinners. That's the opening match. Navi Ecstatic, Cloud9 OG, Big Permitter, Bet Boom, Zero Tenacity. I played against Zero Tenacity today. They're queuing as 5. 3D Max versus Alu's team. Is it Yano?
Yeah, I think
9 Pandas versus Nexus. Saw versus Fnatic. And then Group B or closed qualifier B or 2. MOUZ versus Eyeballers. We touched on that before. Spirit versus Koi, aka Movistar. Eternal Fire versus Pera.
Yeah.
Amcal versus Sync. That's the Estonians. Astralis versus X Thunderflash, which is the one and only. Those lads. It's a Polish team. Like Demo in there as well. People might remember. We've
from
got
Armor fame.
Yeah.
I think right.
I'm pretty sure.
Tawao from Argo fame.
Yeah. Preasy versus Entropic, Aurora versus Ikla, which has like Lekro in it, and Mihu, and then Forz versus Heroic. So that's the split, and those are the opening games. Now, maybe people are a little bit interested in how this all kicks off. Well, this will follow the same format as the RMRs. So Swiss, 2 groups of 16 teams. 8 teams from each group will qualify directly into the RMRs, which will be going down in 4 weeks time from now or something like that, maybe a little bit less. And then the teams who place 2, 3 in the Swiss from each group, that's 6 teams in total, will go into a decider bracket or group or whatever the fuck it is. And from those 6 teams, 5 of those 6 will will progress to the RMR as well. So of the 32 teams that you see on screen right now, 21 of which will be going to the RMRs for the European side of things. So that's an awful lot of words, an awful lot of things that I just said there. And if you're like, where's G2? Where's ENTS? Well, if you had kept a core, well, you're a team who placed in the top 16 of the Paris Major, and you kept a core is 3 players, you get a direct invitation to the RMRs. There you go. See, look, we do our homework around here. And that's where teams like your G2s, your Vitalities, etc., are already waiting in the wings. So what interest, what jumps off the page at anybody here? I'm surprised OG made it. Apparently Heavy God is the truth. So they made it through. OG made it through. Anything else?
Nice to see Zero Tenacity, like a regional team.
They're always in deathmatch, bro. This like AVN guys, always in fucking deathmatch every day. Yeah,
I mean, he's been around for a long time, playing even some like local lands that I've been to, winning most of them, to be honest. So yeah, that's I'm excited for that. Like last year, we had iNation at the RMR. They got destroyed, but still kind of nice. What else? I think.
I mean,
eyeballers, we spoke about. What did you say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, for me, like, obviously seeing Sinners is nice because they were at once like 1 game or like 5 rounds away from the major and failed it. So like seeing them get somewhere with this.
So they got Oscar and Neofrag, right?
Yeah, they got Oscar back. They got Neofrag back. They almost did the whole Last Dance thing. Like they have 4 out of 5 of the Sinners team that was like the most successful. That actually got almost to the major, and just have Eitz now, which is kind of like a guy who's been like on the top for a while. One of the best players in the country. Fell off in recent times, I would say, probably, but he hasn't been in the best team, so maybe that's also why. So I mean, it's a decent team. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if they're going to get somewhere.
Well, look at Entropic and look at the first player on the lineup. I did not see that. I missed that completely. Like I saw that he tweeted something about it. I even thought he was coaching, but he's still playing. That's pretty nice. Love that guy.
One of the nicest team has been like together for like 5 months.
I completely missed that he was on it.
But it's got some interesting players, right? Milky's on there, the Polish Orpa, and Barracks is on there. He was at Sprout for a little while, wasn't he? Barracks. He's
oh yeah.
What's the country? Ah, fuck.
Oh, Luxembourg.
That's the one.
I wanted to say Liechtenstein. So
yeah. Wow.
I've been wrong.
Close.
Could have been one of the two. So Keto and Tizzy in in-game leading international teams.
Yeah,
they've done it. That's what you could have been doing, Tabson. But you didn't want to go to FaZe. You didn't want to go to FaZe. So actually, Big are doing all right at the moment. They're all right, and they're playing Blast. They're all right. They'll be right.
So let's just say which teams have to go through, and if they don't go through, all hell breaks through.
The world will end.
Virtus Pro, Navi, Cloud9, Big. I don't want to bet Boom, kind of.
I think they have to go. They have to go through. Man.
Yes, but not to the same degree of. Yeah, let's say bet Boom as well.
Okay. They're like top 17 at the moment in the world ranking. They have to go.
Bet Boom, Fnatic. These are like
Fnatic have to go through.
7
I would say
teams. Yes, and OG don't have to go through. Honestly, with this team, I'm not going to be that surprised.
I mean, they're kind of. Where did we put OG and Fnatic in the battle of mid?
OG was last.
Somewhere in the middle, I guess.
OG was last.
In the middle. And then on the other group, MOUZ Sports, definitely. Spirit, definitely. Astralis, 100%. Heroic. And then maybe Eternal Fire. And that's it.
But that's what we're saying. 21 teams make it of the 32 on screen. If it should be who isn't going to make it. That's probably if I can... Actually, I couldn't even do that for you because it's going to be some epic battles down the bottom there, isn't it? There are going to be some fucking biffs. So it is Swiss for everybody playing at home. It'll be best of ones for the establishing matches and best of 3 for the progression or elimination matches. So,
like you literally have to go 1-3 to just get eliminated straight up. Like 0-3 or 1-3 to get eliminated straight up, and then at least if you're 2-3, you at least go to the last chance qualifier.
Yeah.
From which 5 out of 6 teams make it through. Like literally, like you have to go through if you're a decent team.
The odds here to get through are fucking amazing.
They're great.
Like actually amazing. So if the big names that Prof's just listed right there don't get through, like even for a team like 3D Max, if 3D Max don't get through, I'll be pretty disappointed for those guys.
One of these will not go through though. That's 100%. I can guarantee you. I can
really?
Put up, yeah. We can give you 100% Jason Moses O'Toole guarantee right now. Down on the table.
Never go 100%.
Someone is gonna fuck up.
Who is Forza's fifth? Galfi, Riso, Gokushima. Who's the fifth?
I heard it at some point, then I forgot.
It's TBA.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I'm sure someone knows. I'm sure. Is the last chance stage only for EU? I believe so because of the amount of spots available.
Yes.
Right. That's kind of why it's worked out this way.
Yeah, it's because they have whatever. I mean, some of the European teams didn't keep their core, but those slots still belong to Europe, so that's why they. Whatever.
There's not enough. 4 teams who didn't keep their core.
Yeah, and essentially there's more than 16 spots, so you know there's more than 2 Swiss groups, so that's why you need the last chance.
Right.
Man, people aren't leaving me alone about wearing a hat and my hairline and shit.
Did something go wrong? Did something go wrong with your hair transplant? I don't know what.
No, like there was even a thread about it the other day. People were chatting about it on the forums, man. Why can't I wear? People want me to close my door and not wear a fucking hat. It's just I have to do my hair if I'm not wearing a fucking hat. It's like I don't want to do my hair. I'm at home. I'm fucking chilling. I'm relaxing. I don't want to fucking do my fucking hair, man. God,
don't give in to the pressure, man.
The hat's off now. The hat's off. All right, we're almost done. So I can put it back on.
Out of the hat.
Getting tired and cranky, man. It's getting late. It's getting
Want to talk
late.
about Blast so we can wrap it up?
Let's do it. Let's talk about Blast. Let's do that. That's a great idea, Prof. Let's jump over here. Blast groups. Okay. So we got the Vox Pop. You ready to bring up the Vox Pop, Lucas? Yeah, I'm ready to bring out the Vox Pop. Let's bring out the Vox Pop.
Okay, I got a meanwhile update from Neil M.
Oh yeah, what's Neil M saying?
I sent him a question. Does this mean one of your 5 are not attending the RMR, or is it just for backup? And he said backup.
Okay, so you reading comprehension +1 for Striker.
Thank you.
Good job, Striker. You nailed that one.
I mean, it could have meant either way, but I'm more like, he wouldn't have said it that way if it was like that serious, He would have said like, okay.
But he wrote like emergency standard, So
it sounded like
I read emergency.
bells.
It's like, oh, there's an emergency right now, not like in case of emergency.
Yeah.
Which, that's how my brain works.
Okay, so the Vox Pop, which Lucas is going to bring up on screen for everybody right now, already has. Good job, Lucas. Which one of the new rosters will succeed the most at Blast?
The phrasing of succeed the most and Blast in the same sentence feels a bit off.
Yeah,
just because like success is just being top 6. Success like the most, it doesn't really matter if you succeed as number 1 or number 6.
Well, maybe none of them are top 6.
We get the gist. We get the gist of this right here. So
which of them will fail the least? This should have been the wording or what?
That could work quite nicely. Liquid, Falcon, Spirit, and Heroic are the teams we have here. So let's see what the people at home seem to think. I think that the Donk hype is probably going to carry a lot here. Oh, yeah. Liquid. Okay. That's
kind of crazy to me that Spirit is ahead of Falcons by that much.
Well, what do you think is going to happen
is actually
with
ahead of
Falcons?
everybody that much?
What do you think is good? Because it's going to be Snappy with his core of Sampias and Madden. It's not even really his, like, if it was Snappy, Nerds, and Sampias, then I'm, because I think they define a little bit more of how the game is played overall, or at least with the styles. But I
mean, you have Magisk and Boros as like the two big riflers. I think that's pretty good, man.
But how does it work? Like, because Zonic's obviously going to have a lot to say, right? And like Magisk is a multi-time major winner as well. And I don't know what type of approach they're going to be having to the game. I'm very interested to see. I think the one that should be just an upgrade is Spirit, right? Just bringing in Shiro. That's just an upgrade over Artfrost. That's the one that, like, if you were going to say should succeed the quickest, in theory, shouldn't it be Spirit? But I guess
the logic is sound.
But maybe I'm overrating them. Because
I mean, they won Dacha, right? And that's not like, it's not like it was a big tournament or something, but they have some history with this core, and Donk's already obviously kind of confirmed the hype with winning the MVP there. So it's not like, there's nothing behind Spirit. Like, obviously, I don't know if they now belong in the same conversation as like a Liquid that like I think a lot of people will have is in kind of like a title contention, at least conversation. Maybe not like a #1 team contender, but at least like okay, they're gonna make deep runs. But I think like Spirit looks like a shoe-in for everybody for a pretty good year 2024.
What do you think, Prof? Do you agree with this? Do you think it's somebody else that of these names to be towards tippy top of the list? Like,
I think the ratio is pretty okay, except Liquid being first. I would definitely put them more towards the Falcons level. In my opinion, Spirits should definitely be on top based on what they have, what their operate is. Like, definitely should be getting like replacing a decent topper for a top 10 like player of the year. That could have been higher if he didn't like take a break at the end, right? I think that's huge. Shiro for the last 2 years has been one of the best operators in the world. So I think it's just a great operator. And Donk, I don't think he will falter anytime soon. I don't think his form will dip, right? So I definitely think Spirit should be towards the top, but
you're talking about like short term just for Blast, right? Just to ease the people who would say like, oh, Liquid has an amazing team. How can you say that?
Liquid obviously has an amazing team, but they are like 5 players coming together that like need to find a way, and a coach, right? That need to find how they want to play, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong there. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you think is Donk like just on the obviously, but is he the most anticipated player since whom? m0NESY? Like I don't know, m0NESY wasn't that long ago, but is that probably the one?
You could even say maybe you could say ZywOo, who was also like there was a lot of hype behind him just from EPL, but m0NESY was much more hyped, yeah.
But he was more recent, I think.
I would say,
what I'm trying to say.
I mean, m0NESY, like people were calling him like the baby goat already, like from the Navi Junior times and stuff like that, like even before he joined G2. So I feel like that's kind of the level.
Because this is where we get to see, and I suppose I can get the group link right now and we can have a look at that, because Blast did announce the group. So the format for everybody playing at home for Blast is actually a good format because they have a good amount of teams now. So it's not 12.
And they can actually get eliminated after 2 matches, after they lose 2 matches in a row.
Isn't that all great news, everybody playing at home? So top 6 teams go through to the spring final, and then the bottom remaining, which is 10 teams now, will go to the showdown. So basically, it's been broken up into 4 groups of 4 teams. The groups are Group A, Vitality, OG, Astralis, Falcons. Those are the matchups and how they're going to start. That's some juicy stuff there. Group B, FaZe, Gamer Legion, Spirit, Liquid. Group C, G2, NIP, Na'Vi, Complexity. And Group D, VP, Big, Cloud9, Heroic. And as Striker was saying, it's a GSL format. So it's
insane how much better it is just by adding these.
So much better.
It's so much better, so much more competitive, so much more exciting. It actually makes sense. Winning the group final gets you through. Losing it, you need to go into the last chance. It's just so straightforward, makes sense. Everything means something. There's no like silly games, and I love it.
There's still the group final, which is
no,
it's not actually. No,
they're all meaningful games.
Never mind.
They're all meaningful.
Scratch that.
Because if you win your opener and then you win the upper final, you go to the group final, right? But you can still come through this little lower bracket, and you can still snatch that away. So, and then if you lose that game, which you need to contest for, then you go down to the single elimination bracket, which is the second place team from every group. And they face off. So second place Group A plays second place Group D, second place Group C plays second place Group B, which is fucking sick. Like imagine if we have, I don't know, let's say Astralis comes second place Group A, they could play second place Group D, which could be Heroic. Cloud9, or
that could be Heroic.
Well, yeah, come on now, Prof. We want an actual match on our hands here.
I mean, this creates like a really tough environment actually. If you look at it,
now it's a good format now
because you have like Vitality, Astralis, and Falcons in the same group now, which is kind of like, okay, like we don't know where Astralis is, we don't know where Falcons is, but we expect them to be good teams, So like for obviously everybody expects Vitality to win that group, but who knows, like they could falter like early on in the year, like they haven't really played that much, all that stuff. So I'm curious, this actually that's why I set my title as like, is excited for Blast Groups ? Exclamation point, because it's like the first time like, okay, we've had like new teams coming in for blast groups, and that's also creates some excitement. But this time, actually, this tournament is decent. Like, it is legit. It is a qualifier still. Like, you can't still say anything else, but at least it's a qualifier that doesn't have stupid games that don't mean anything. That go put the team in a place where you don't even understand what's going to happen with them properly, and all that stuff. Like, it is very straightforward.
Lucas, are you here? Oh, can you? It's all good. I understand. You're a busy man. A lot of people depend on you. People at home don't understand that. Can you bring up the link I put in Twitch chat for everybody so that they can see the bracket? Because some people were a little bit curious. It'd probably be just easier if we went back to me doing the sharing screen shit, wouldn't it? I probably should just fucking do that in the future.
That's going to be easier, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you should have done that.
No, but I think, I mean, if you look at the groups, I don't know if you wanted to look through it, but I guess...
Well, let's predict. Let's go through this and predict. Lucas, can you just humor us for a couple minutes?
But it's kind of tough. Like, in every group, it's like 3 teams that you kind of look at,
We just blind predict
anyway,
No.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just looking through the groups and I'm like, okay, it's kind of great. Like,
who do
it's
I
hard
have
to
to pay to have OG removed from this event and a relevant team added?
Maybe Blast.
Yeah, actually, good
maybe
point.
a couple of million.
Wasn't it less? It was less, right? For
now it was less, but to remove them probably costs more than just to get in.
And they already had a spot, so that fucking.
Maybe you have to play OG and Blast.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just put put like 2 million together, would like throw 1 million to OG for like just like, okay, can you just not play this, and then put the other million to Blast so that they can get your Australian team in.
Yeah, actually, that's a great idea. I'll get crowdfunding that. All right, so Vitality win the opener. Surely we have to go with Astralis. Surely we have to say Astralis, right? We have to say Astralis.
I don't know, man.
All right, make a case for the Falcons without seeing them ever play a game of Counter-Strike.
We have seen Vitality. We have seen Astralis. Exactly. We have seen Astralis for this team.
Well, that's so amazing. Like, if you said against Vitality, I'd say okay, or against FaZe, or against MOUZ even. But Astralis hasn't really like blown me away yet, right? So I'll side with Blast Destroyer Snappy in this one.
Oh, well, that means Striker, you get the final vote. I'm voting for Astralis. Ross voting for Falcons. Who are you going for?
I think it would be so sick if like the people who left Astralis would beat Astralis again. I'm just gonna go for Falcons because of the memes. Like, it would just be such a good storyline. It's like Magic and Zonic like team up again in a different team, only to become better than Astralis one more time.
Okay, all right. So Falcons.
I don't know. But like, I don't actually know if this is gonna happen. I just feel like
it's fine. We have no idea, right? We're going into uncharted territory here. So put Falcons, Lucas, and then
put anyone.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about it. And then finally, Vitality versus Falcons, I guess.
Vitality go through for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. All right, let's scroll down. Let's do Group B. So Gamer Legion obviously aren't getting through this group. Who else isn't? FaZe, Spirit, Liquid.
Well, we agreed that this would be Spirit, right?
Not getting through.
No, I mean getting through, beating Liquid. Like that's our. No, I don't know about that one. I don't think that.
2-0.
I don't think that.
Not even close.
Okay, he's on a donk.
I mean, it's gotta be FaZe number 1, right? Like, predicting anybody else would be just against recency and all that stuff. Like, just doesn't make sense. But between Spirit and Liquid, I mean, that's a conversation, right? Because like we haven't really seen Liquid play against any sort of top teams yet.
Hard to predict Liquid here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I mean, like in terms of like, okay, getting up to speed and all that stuff, like it's gotta be Spirit, as we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, so we'll go Spirit and FaZe. Group C, I guess NIP obviously aren't getting through. Now, the thing is with Complexity, was their end of the year scenario just running out of gas, or was it a slump? Like Na'Vi right now are ranked number 4 in the world. It kind of makes me look at the rankings and go, what the fuck's going on? G2 as well.
Weird, right? Yeah.
There's a bit of G2 slander. I don't think they're like people are really upset about this whole Nexa thing. I don't think it's as bad as what people are saying it's going to be.
No.
So I would still have G2 going through here, but then it's a conversation between Na'Vi and Complexity. I feel like Complexity are a bit overrated because of their Sydney performance.
I got it. Yeah,
I think Na'Vi are pretty strong.
Yeah, so Na'Vi and G2, happy with that? Yeah,
sure.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Group D.
I mean, keeping in mind that the second team only goes to the decider thing, so
yeah, I know it's not a guarantee.
Yeah.
But like we're not going all the way down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I don't think Heroic are going to be much chop. That's just how I feel.
But it's like this group isn't that hard to get out of. Like in terms of like, there's no big teams.
I reckon VP and Big will get through.
EP and big?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. It seems outrageous for you to say that, but it's actually not. You know, like it's like looking at the names, like it should be outrageous for you to say that Virtus.pro and big will make it over Cloud9 and Heroic.
Well, the thing is, I felt so burned by
okay,
Cloud9. I feel like Cloud9 just like, fuck, man.
I think Cloud9 are still. I don't know. I think big is a stretch, but I do think Virtus.pro.
Mantu just got married, man. He's got the wedding buff.
That's true.
I don't know what that does for him, but I don't know. VP are good.
I think I like VP for like first place in the group, and then the second place, man, that's a fucking brawl. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know how good Heroic will be. Like it's really hard to tell because it's like kind of like a mishmash of weird places, kind of a little bit. But it is like, okay, you have Nerds who's in good form. Nikodo seems in great form in CS2 and all that stuff. Like I would still probably put Heroic, even if they're a new team and we don't really know how they're gonna play.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because I'm just not sold about the whole Cloud9 thing without an Opera, and they're just playing weird.
That's the same thing for me. Like the Cloud9 stuff, with how hype I was on them and like how negative I've been about Cloud9 rosters in the past, I was like, this is the time. So now I'm off the train.
So you're back to sleeping on Cloud9.
I'm back to being miserable about Cloud9. I want those pajamas, Jack. Get me those goddamn pajamas. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm excited for Blast. This is the first time in Blast history that the groups actually have some meaning. And they have some exciting teams, and it's to start the year. And you know what? We'll even get a nice little taster tomorrow, because a lot of the names here, or not a lot of the names, some of the names here are going to be playing in the online stuff, and that's going to go for 4 days, right? While we have the closed qualifiers for the RMRs going on. So there's going to be a lot of Counter-Strike to consume over the next week and a half. And I guess that's it. We need to tune in, we need to watch, we need to start to actually take note and see how the year's going to look, because we go straight from that into Blast, into Katowice, into the RMRs themselves, and then pretty much into the major. So everything's going to happen very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans at home. Are we cool? Everyone happy?
I am happy, yeah.
Cool. All right.
A good conversation.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, we did hit the 2-hour mark, just under. We saw a cat do a death-defying stunt.
I didn't see that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, you see it's on Twitter. You can't bloody believe it. It's crazy. It was a crazy little cat maneuver. But yeah, this has been another episode of HLTV Confirmed. We're going to shut things down. Thank you to Lucas for playing along, as bringing up all the things. Thank you for Prof Striker for joining me as always. Thank you to you at home for joining the podcast, listening along, and hopefully we didn't upset you this evening, because that's what we try to do every episode. But thanks again to 22Bet. Remember to gamble responsibly, and tradeit.gg. If you want to check them out for any skins, you know where to go. Thank you and good night. We'll be back maybe while Blast is on. If not, yeah, during Katowice sometime.
Hopefully during Blast.
It'll have to be during Blast. All right. Good night, everybody.
Best esports odds, VIP program, and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO matching tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Are you tired of your boring old skins and looking for beautiful new ones? Tradeit.gg is your place to go for easy and secure trades within seconds. Simply pick and choose whatever item you want to trade from Tradeit's huge inventory. Verify the trade on Steam, and you're ready. With the lowest fees in the market and a beautiful, easy-to-use UI, Tradeit also offers you the option to instantly sell your items for cash. We accept a wide variety of payment methods. Tradeit.gg is the go-to place whenever you want to try out fancy new skins. Start trading today at Tradeit.gg.